What we're going to do is we're going to deal with lying and its cousin, stealing. Did you know lying and stealing were cousins? Yes, sir. They are related. They are practically at the hip. And you'll see that as the class goes forward and we read some of the laws and the judgments and some of the situations that get brought up. Lying and stealing go hand in hand, like peanut butter and jelly, turkey and tomato. What's another combo people like a lot? Oh, all right. Those are some of the most popular ones, right? Like peanut butter and jelly, lying and stealing, just sandwiched together for twice the judgment from the Lord. Nobody wants that, right? So let's go. Let's start with the law, right? Tuesday night law class. Let's start with the law. Exodus 20 and verse 15 and 16. Let's start with the law. Is it lawful? Because you know some people. Listen, some people say, do as thou wilt. So if you ask them, they'll say, yes, it's lawful. So I don't want what they think is lawful. I want what does God think is lawful. So let's figure it out. Exodus 20, verse 15 and 16.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 15.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
So thou shalt not steal, not lawful. Thou shalt not bear false witness, not lawful. Lying. So stealing and lying, God instructs the children of Israel they should not be doing that. Truth be told, nobody on this planet is supposed to be doing it. But until we get raised back up to our position to enforce God's laws, the nation is going to do what the nation is going to do. Heathens are going to heathen, right? But the children of Israel, we can do better. Give me Leviticus 6, verses 2 through 5, right? So I made a statement earlier. You tend to find these two things joined at the hip more often than not. Even among the 10 commandments, right? We just read Exodus 20, 15, and 16. It talked about not stealing, and then right behind it talked about not lying, right? They were right next to each other. Read what you got, sir.
Leviticus chapter 6 and verse 2.
Uh-huh.
If a soul sin and commit a trespass against the Lord.
So we know we're talking about sin, if a soul sins. So let's see what type of actions fall under sin. Keep reading.
And lie.
And do what?
And lie.
Uh-oh. Read.
Unto his neighbor in that which was delivered him to keep, or in fellowship, or in a thing taken away by violence.
A thing taken away. That's a type of stealing. If you're familiar with some of the charges here in America, the land of the free home of the slave, right? If you're familiar with some of the charges here, there's a charge called armed robbery. Robbery is stealing. Armed is by violence, right? This is a type of stealing, right? Read.
Or have deceived his neighbor.
Or have lied to his neighbor. Read.
Or have found that which was lost.
Oh, we're going to touch this in a little bit. Have found that which is lost. Who has ever done finders, keepers, losers, weepers? Guess what? We're not supposed to be moving like that. Finders, keepers. If you lost something, wouldn't you want somebody to return it to you? But now, when it's somebody else's stuff, and you got some covetousness in you, and you got that new shirt you saw on the rack at Belk's that you want to put on, you say, "Hey man, that shirt costs like $40 or $50. I ain't got it right now." And then your brother drops his wallet. All of a sudden, you got it right now. No, you still don't got it, and you about to be in sin. Keep reading.
And lieth concerning it.
And so you found something. And then you lied about it. These things are always like peanut butter. Lying and stealing are the peanut butter and jelly of a thief. Keep reading.
And swear falsely.
I swear on my mama, on my hood, I did not do it. I swear to God. Now you don't draw God in your lying and stealing. Keep reading.
In any of all these that a man doeth, sinning therein, then it shall be, because he hath sinned and is guilty, that he shall restore that which he took violently away.
Come on.
Or the thing which he have deceitfully gotten.
So you're supposed to restore the things you were taken and the things you lied to gain, right? That you gained by deceit. Deceit is lying. Read.
Or that which was delivered him to keep. Or the lost thing which he found.
So proof that you're supposed to return things that you find. Finders, keepers is not a thing. Read.
Or all that about which he have sworn falsely, he shall even restore it in the principle and shall add the fifth part more thereto, and give it unto him who appertaineth in the day of his trespass offering.
So appertaineth is like belonging to. So you have to give it to the person that it originally belonged to. So I'm gonna read that again. Or all that about which he hath sworn falsely, he shall even restore it in the principal, and shall add the fifth part. A fifth part in math today would be 20%. So I'm gonna share a little fun fact with you. When, at least here in the state of Georgia, when you steal an item, depending on the charge, so we're going to deal with shoplifting, right? So you steal an item. To set your bond up in the jail system, the equation they use to figure out what your bond is for that charge, they take the principal of the item, whatever the item cost, and then they add 20% of the value onto that item. I just read that here in the book of Leviticus. So you mean to tell me the judicial system used the laws of the Jews as the framework? But, Mr. Atheist, I thought the Bible was fake. I'm conscious and spiritual. The Bible's not real. Anytime you pay bond, have seen bond, have heard about bond, you were doing the Bible. It speaks for itself, right? So let's keep going. Leviticus 19, verses 11, and then verse 13, right?
Sir.
So remember, the name of the class is Liar, Liar, Lake of Fire. In parentheses, the peanut butter and jelly of a thief, lying and stealing. Right? Read.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 11. You shall not steal.
You shall not what?
You shall not steal.
Man, we kept having to be told not to steal. We some stealing people. Read.
Neither deal falsely.
Neither lie. Uh-oh. There they go again, right next to each other. Not stealing, not dealing falsely. Read.
Neither lie one to another. Verse 13.
Yes, sir.
Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor.
Defrauding or fraud is a type of lie, a type of deceit. It's going to make sense as we keep going. So we want to, because if I ask you if you lie or steal, most people are going to say, no, I do not. But then when we start implementing other words that mean the same thing, you may find out you have at one point been guilty of lying or stealing. Like finders, keepers, losers, weepers. You weren't supposed to do that, right? Read 13 again.
Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. And
you're supposed to pay those people that work you when you're supposed to pay them, right? Is that the end of the verse?
Yes, sir.
Go to Hosea 4 and 2. So why is this even something that we have to address, right? Because you may ask yourself, I got a daddy and a mama. They told me I didn't know this. This is common sense. Every time you try to talk to our people, they say, that's common sense. I already know it. Okay, then why is it a problem? Why you don't leave your car doors unlocked if you already know it? Because you know it's a problem. Why you lock your door when you go home if you already know? Why you close your window? You shut the blinds. You lock the door. Y'all be triple locking the door too. You lock the doorknob, the door lock, and the latch. Right. Because you know somewhere around the corner, Ray, Shaniqua, Taquisha, Pookie, somebody will lie and steal, and it'll be your stuff they lie about stealing. Hosea 4 and 2.
Hosea chapter 4, verse 2. By swearing and lying.
And lying.
And killing. And stealing.
And stealing.
And committing adultery. They break out. And blood touches blood.
This is a problem in our communities. All these things go down. Today, we're just primarily focusing on lying and stealing. But like you just read in the verse, adultery, killing, swearing falsely, and then blood touches blood. Now crime breaks out. Now violence escalates because people have been victims of lying and stealing, and we don't know how to control ourselves on an individual level to solve problems in a respectable manner, in a lawful manner, according to the Bible, right? So this is why we got to address it. Can we look up the word lying and get the meaning of it on the screen? The word lying, right? What is lying? Because some people may say, oh, well, you know, I had some information somebody needed to know, but some of it was kind of sensitive, so I may have not shared some details. Did I lie? Okay, well, let's find out. Lying. marked by or containing untrue statements. What's another definition? What we got? So lying means you have untrue statements. So lying, some of the synonyms right there on the screen, it says dishonest, mendacious. That's a Scrabble word for you right there. Listen, if you put that on the board, I'm saying challenge. Look this word up. Mendacious, untruthful. Are there more? Oh man, look at that right there. This is perfect. They're using the word lying in a sentence. Here's an example. That lying son of a gun. Oh, hey man, that eater might mad. He said, that lying son of a gun. That lying son of a gun told me that the used car had never been in an accident. You know why he told you that? Because he didn't want you to look up that Carfax. He needed to sell you that used car at maximum profit. So he said, I'm going to lie. And then you found out later you were upset, right? So that's lying, right? Look up stealing. Look up the definition for steal. Some people say, I don't steal. Listen, I got what was owed me. I took what was mine. Steal. To take the property of another wrongfully, and especially as a habitual or regular practice. Some of y'all are habitual stealers. You've been so good at stealing and you've done it so often, you didn't realize you were stealing. Or it might just be second nature at this point. Something's on the ground, you just got to grab and pick it up. It don't matter what it is. Might be a paper clip, my paper clip now. You ask your neighbor to borrow a pen, you be like, can I borrow your pen? Yeah, the word borrow means that you're going to give it back. Like borrowing a loan, borrowing a possession. You say, let me borrow your pen. Whoop. And then my pen been gone for 2 weeks. You didn't borrow my pen. You took my pen, brother. Give me my pen back. Right, so lying and stealing, we got a definition to work with now, right? So we want the definition because I'm going to touch back on lying first. You have what some people in the world call a white lie. Look up what a white lie is. A white lie. What does that even mean? If it's white, it's right. A white lie. Listen, white Jesus is a white lie. White Jesus is a white lie. White lies are very harmful. These things are not harmless. White lie. A lie about a small or unimportant matter that someone tells to avoid hurting another person. He told a little white lie as his excuse for missing the party. You know what that tells me? White lies are you don't want to be held accountable for lying because you're still lying. So you want to come up with a reason where you don't have to deal with lying, right? Let's read another script. So we talked about finders keepers. Let's deal with that first. Deuteronomy 22, verses 1 through 3. And then we're going to, as the lesson progresses, we're going to go through some examples of common lying and stealing today. And then we got a few stories for you, right? So Deuteronomy 22, verses 1 through 3.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 1. Oh. Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray.
So you shall not see something that doesn't belong to you. It belongs to somebody you know. Read.
And hide thyself from them.
And not help them. Read.
Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother.
You don't get to keep it. It's not finders keepers. It went astray, but you know who it belongs to, right? So you have to take it back to that person. Read.
And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee.
But if you can't get to him right now, read.
Or if thou know him not.
Or you may not know him personally. So this is excellent right here. This is excellent. You may not know the person it belongs to, but you know it belongs to somebody. Listen, hold on. In verse 1, if thou see thy brother's ox or sheep go astray. If you see how many times in the wilderness, in the woods, do you see a random sheep by itself? That's not even how these animals survive. These are domesticated animals. You know this belongs to somebody's farm. It belongs to somebody's property. You know this is somebody's animal, right? Read.
Then thou shalt bring it unto thy own house.
So now you bring it to a safe place to keep. Read.
And it shall be with thee until thy brothers seek after it.
And you don't get to use it like it's my lamb now. I feel like having some lamb this week. I'm going to slaughter it and have some lamb meat. No, you're going to keep it until somebody comes looking for it. Like, have you ever had somebody will lose something and then they'll come back and be like, hey, has anybody seen such and such, such and such? That's what you're waiting on here, for somebody to come back and ask about it, right? Read.
And thou shalt restore it to him again.
And then you give it to him. You give that person their possession. Read.
In like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment.
Or clothing, read.
And with all lost things of thy brothers.
Or anything that belongs to that person that you found, read.
Which he have lost, and thou have found. Shalt thou do likewise, thou mayest not hide thyself.
Now, ask yourself, why do you think we had to be told that as a law? Why do you think, Brother John? Why we had to be told that as a law? I got my guesses. And my guesses come from learned experience. Listen, I got some finder keepers in my family. Why do you think we had to be told that?
Basically, to avoid taking something that doesn't belong to you.
Yes, to avoid taking something that doesn't belong to you. But why would you have to tell me not to do that? What do I want to do? I want to take something that don't belong to me.
That means you're breaking God's laws.
Yeah, I ain't worried about God's laws. I want to take something that don't belong to me. And if I don't get caught, who's going to know? Who's going to know, right? How do two people keep a secret? If one person's dead, who would know? Take it to your grave, right? And we'll say things like that. We'll say, take it to the grave. Well, what are you taking to the grave and why? Yeah, we messed up, Brother John. We messed up, man. We messed up. You might care about God's laws, but some of our people don't give a about God's laws, right? So finders keepers, it's just something that we commonly interact with that you may already know. But there's other things we deal with that fall under lying and stealing. Like they go hand in hand. For example, I'm going to name a few things off for you. Any type of theft, stealing. Shoplifting, stealing. You have a charge called theft of services. When you go somewhere, like eat at a restaurant, and you don't pay for it, you stole the services of that restaurant. Theft of wages. You didn't pay your employee or your employer didn't pay you. You have stealing time. You're at work clocking in when you're not supposed to. They will charge you with stealing. How do you steal time? What does time look like? Can I put time in a bag and take it with me? Listen, Esau gonna make sure you pay for it though. You will be stealing time. But to steal time, you were also lying. You clocked in at times you weren't supposed to clock in. You lied about, I'm doing work. You were stealing time. I got a story about that in a minute. Grand theft auto, stealing a car. Check fraud. Fraud is lying. It's deceit. So you got money stolen, and you lied about doing it. This also falls under what Esau calls theft by deception. Theft, stealing by deceit. Lying and stealing keep meeting up and holding hands with each other, right? Insurance fraud. People love to, a hurricane's coming through. So, if I cross a few wires on my electrical paneling before I leave, who's going to know? Who's going to know? I pay for insurance. I deserve it. It's my money and I want it now. But Esau's going to do a diligent search of your house to figure out was everything in order before that storm showed up. Insurance fraud, stealing, fraud, identity fraud. You stole an identity. Like Caesar Bow tried to steal the identity of Jesus Christ. Identity fraud, stealing, lying, human trafficking. Kidnapping is forbidden in the scriptures. If we find a man stealer, we see the judgment was death. You stealing people. You crazy, right? Get Exodus 23 and 4.
Yes, sir. Exodus chapter 23 and verse 4. If thou meet thine enemy's ox.
If thou meet thy enemy's ox. So we were reading Deuteronomy 22 that talks about thy brother, if you know him or not. But Exodus 23 goes a step further. It could be somebody you don't like. Listen, your enemy is somebody you know. Ain't no guess about this. You know your enemy. Yeah, you know you don't like him. Oh, I just can't stand. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. If you find his stuff, read.
If thou meet thy enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again.
You got to bring it back to him. Now, mind you, because he's your enemy, he or she is your enemy, And if you don't control yourself, you found his item. You don't want to return it. That's stealing. You'll lie about finding it. So now you've lied as well, too. Going hand in hand. Read that again.
If thou meet thy enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again.
Okay. Get the book of Ecclesiasticus 14:4. Right. So we're going to deal with fraud. Right. So I named off a few charges earlier that deal with the word fraud. Fraud meaning stealing. It means theft. Right. Fraud includes things like lying on applications for loans or assistance, like you may be lying for housing assistance. It includes things like buying an item, using it, and then returning it to the store to get your money back. Like, you buy that AC for the summer, and you use that thing every day, and then you take it back and say, it wasn't working. Because they're going to ask you for it. It used to be, and I'm telling you, this is probably because so many damn black people do this now. You used to have a reason why you were returning an item. But now you go in there and you raise such a funk in the store and complain and stomp your feet. They just accept your return and give you like in-store credit. But it used to be, you used to have to say, why are you bringing it back? Is it malfunctioning? Did it not work? Yada, yada, yada. That's deceitful. You cannot purchase stuff and know you intend to use it and go get your money back. That is fraud. The book of Ecclesiasticus 14:4.
Yes, sir. The book of Sirach, chapter 14 and verse 4. He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul.
He that gathereth by defrauding, you got something by lying about what you're going to do with it. Read.
Gathereth for others, that shall spend his goods riotously.
Really, you're going to end up losing it, right? So that first part right there, he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gather for others. You're corrupting yourself. You really are. You think you're getting over, but you're about to end up being under the law, under a judgment, under a penalty. You didn't get over. You just haven't got caught yet, right? Get Ecclesiasticus 29:7.
Sir. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 29 and verse 7. Many, therefore, have refused to lend for other men's.
Many have refused to lend. Read.
For other men's ill dealings, fearing to be defrauded.
Oh, so now if you become known as somebody who defrauds, reneges, who doesn't deal right, people start drawing back from even wanting to deal with you on that level. They say, I would if it wasn't you. You like to do that. I'm a rent. I saw a story where Jake says to get new tires on your car, right? Go rent a car that's the exact make and model of your car. Take the tires off that car, put them on your car, put your old tires on the new car. Listen, I'm not even done telling the story. This is a lot of damn work. I don't know if you're taking a tire on and off a car, but to do 4 and then to do it twice. Take the tires off the rental car, put them on your car, put your tired old bald-headed tires on that car, and then return the car. And they're like, see? And now you got new tires. Honestly, 1, it was less effort to just go buy tires straight up, honestly. And 2, you're just going to end up getting caught. They check these vehicles when you return them. They have an idea of the condition they're in, blase, blase, blase. But this is the advice we're giving each other. If you need new tires, I'm just going to tell you, go buy new tires. And go here because they have a good deal on tires. Or go here because they sell used tires that they bring back to working condition. And you don't got to do the defrauding and lying to get new tires on your car. But when that's in your spirit and you like doing that stuff, those are answers you get from liars and thieves. You say, hey, I got a problem. They say, listen, ain't no problem a little lying and stealing can't solve. Oh, wait, I can't talk to you. Hey, you crazy. Right. You're crazy. So, got a story. Stealing time, right? So we talked about stealing time earlier, very briefly. I used to work at a place where you had to fill in your timesheet and turn it in. So every 2 weeks, you would fill in your time. Your supervisor would sign off on it, and then you turn it in to get paid, right? So now there's an Edomite girl, Caucasian, a Caucasoid. Her normal job was Monday to Friday. That was her normal job hours while everybody's there. But for at least a few months, she had been turning in her timesheet and she was signing on that she had been there for Saturday and Sunday. Oh, yeah. I worked on the weekend, too. Now, she didn't get caught for a while because the people that worked in her area, they never came in on the weekends. Very rarely did they come in. But happened so the chance one weekend somebody was there. So when they saw her timesheet, he was confused, like, I didn't see her there that day. Then they did a review. They said, wait a minute, she's been saying she's there all the time. And she was lying the entire time. That's still in time. Now, has she been one of us? Has she been this complexion? You're going to jail, my friend. You are going to jail. Do you think she went to jail for that? No, she did not. How do I know? Because I was there. I saw it. She didn't go to jail for that. Stealing time. What did it take for her to do that? She stole time, but what was she doing to stealing? She was lying. She was lying about where she was at, when she was there, for how long she was there. Lying and stealing, peanut butter and jelly. PPP loans. Look up PPP loans. Look up PPP loans on the interwebs. PPP loan. PPP. If you never heard of PPP loan, chances are, excuse me, man, even talking about lying and stealing has me sneezing. See, as a prophet of God, I am allergic to lying and stealing. All praises the Spirit revealed it. I'm allergic to lying and stealing. Even talking about it is making me sick. You thieves make me sick, right? So PPP fraud, right? Look up PPP loan. The Paycheck Protection Program was a government loan program designed to help small businesses during the pandemic. It provided forgivable loans that could be used for payroll costs, rent, mortgage, interest, etc., etc. You could send in an application for a PPP loan for like hardship. A lot of places had to shut down. They had to alter their hours. They were affected by the pandemic. And so to help keep things afloat, the government was giving out essentially free checks. Here's the problem. A lot of Negroes was online. Everybody, start your LLC. Okay, for what? So you can get a PPP loan. Okay, what's that? Oh, it's a check from the government. Okay, for what? Well, hold on, wait a minute. This dude right here, I've known him since we were in kindergarten. He don't even wear his pants on his waist. His boxers out every day. He ain't had a job in 5 years. I need to investigate. Why is he telling me to start an LLC? This can't be right. Well, come to find out, it wasn't right. They were committing PPP loan fraud. One, it's against the law. It's a federal crime for you to lie on this federal paperwork. And then you were doing it to get the money, to steal. They're investigating all of those applications. So if you did it, don't think you got away. They just ain't got to your application yet, right? Let's see. Go to Proverbs 20 and 17. Proverbs 20 and 17, right? So fraud. Oh, wait, unemployment fraud. People be lying about unemployment. You get on unemployment and you know when you find eligible work, you're supposed to go back down to the Department of Labor and say you don't need these benefits anymore. But you don't. You say, I got 52 weeks of unemployment. I want all 52 weeks. Okay. You got to pay all that back when they catch up to you. And they will catch up to you. They're going to catch up to you. Proverbs 20 and 17.
Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 17. Bread of deceit is sweet to a man.
Bread of deceit is sweet to a man. When you lie and steal to get it, you be like, the best lunch is a free lunch. You be like, ooh, I ain't had to pay for none of this. And I'm going to look at the sister side, too. Yeah, he took me this. He took me that. Yeah, I've been stringing him along for 2 years, girl. He paying for everything. I even got him saved in my phone as dinner.
Damn.
Anytime I'm hungry, I just call dinner. Damn. Bread gotten by deceit. Read that again.
Bread of deceit is sweet to a man.
So the product of your deceit, that's the bread, the substance of that deceit, right, is sweet to a man. If in the moment, it feels good. Like, I got away. It's exhilarating. It's exciting. I can do it again. It was easier than I thought. Read.
But afterwards, his mouth shall be filled with gravel.
Oh, how would you feel if you ate a piece of bread, right? And as you're chewing it, it turns into rocks in your mouth. Because afterwards, you're not going to get the desired effect that you were after, right? It's temporary. Like there's a saying in the world about fast money. Or sometimes you see some of our unrepentant people in the world who say they want to be in a relationship with a hustler or a drug dealer, a hustler. Like, okay, a drug dealer, a hustler, or a 9-to-5. They be like, I want the hustler. The hustler get money fast. Money come fast, money go fast. You lie to get the money. You lie, cheat, steal, deceive to get the money. This stuff goes by fast. And then when you have to suffer the judgment, you be like, it wasn't even worth all that. I could have went without it, right? So I got an example for you. I have an uncle. Uncle, I ain't gonna name you, but if you ever see this, remember you told me this story. You told me. He used to steal from Walmart. Everybody steals from Walmart, right? Everybody steals from Walmart. I ain't steal from Walmart. Maybe you do, but I don't. But okay, he used to steal from Walmart. And what he used to tell me was how he would steal. So you know how when you go outside and you don't have any respect for God's green earth and you take your receipt and just throw it in the parking lot because you're a litter bug. He would go in the parking lot and purposely get receipts that people would drop on the ground. And then he would walk back in the store and make sure to fill his cart with exactly what's on that receipt. If your receipt said 2 cartons of eggs and 1 gallon of milk, he'd go get 2 cartons of eggs and 1 gallon of milk. So now when he's walking out the store and the alarm goes off, he shows the door attendant the receipt. And if they're not properly paying attention to things like date and time, they're just looking at the items. He has what's in his cart. He will walk out. That is stealing. He lied to do that. And he was proud of it to even tell somebody else. Uncle, you're older than me. I'm supposed to go to you to learn how not to lie and how not to steal. What is going on here? Liar, liar, lake of fire. And we're going to touch it at the end of the class. It's because we don't fear God's judgment. We don't fear that lake of fire. We think the lake of fire is just for the murderers, the rapists, the things that we consider are the worst of the worst things to do. We think the lake of fire is just for them. But liar, liar, lake of fire is for you if you don't know how to stop lying. It's for you if you don't know how to stop stealing, right? Exodus 22 and 16. Book of Exodus chapter 22 and verse 16. There's a lot of things we do in life that we don't think fall under lying and stealing, but they do.
Exodus chapter 22 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
You say, wait a minute. That's talking about marriage, right? Like we usually read that for marriage. Why he reading that and talking about lying and stealing is the topic of the class? Interesting. Let's go up in the same chapter. Read verse 1.
Verse 1. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox.
So we're talking about stealing. If you steal something, here's what you have to pay back because you stole. Read verse 2.
If a thief be found breaking up.
Stop. A thief is somebody that steals. So the context is still talking about stealing. Jump to verse 12.
And if it be stolen from him.
So in verse 12, we're still talking about stealing stuff. If something was stolen and what you have to do in terms of restitution. Now go to verse 16 again.
Verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
You know we're still talking about stealing something, right? We're still talking, this far down in the chapter, we're still talking about stealing something. Read the next verse.
If her father utterly refuse.
The father can utterly refuse for his daughter to be your wife in this scenario because you didn't go through the proper chain. You were supposed to go to the father to have his daughter. You tried to steal his daughter. Hold where you at. Get Exodus 20 and 17, and we'll come back here.
Sir.
I didn't know me trying to run game on a sister the wrong way can be viewed as stealing. You tried to steal something that belongs to your neighbor. Exodus 20:17.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
Come on.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, neither his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Your neighbor's children are your neighbor's. His daughter is his daughter. Guess what? You're not supposed to covet these things to take them. Go back to Exodus 22 and verse 16 and 17 again.
Exodus chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
So this woman has to become your wife unless, read,
if her father utterly refused.
Because you were supposed to go through the father. You tried to steal your wife. You tried to sneak you one. What? Hold on. Wait a minute. What they call it today? They call it sneaky links. Y'all are the children of Israel. You're rebellious. You refuse to repent. You even using the words that's going to convict you in the scriptures. You call it a sneaky link. You're trying to steal the man's daughter. Read it again.
If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
So yes, if you are taking something of your neighbor without properly asking, requesting of it, or going through the correct channels, it gets lumped in with stealing, lying and stealing, being deceitful, right? Get the book of Jeremiah 9 and 5. Jeremiah 9 and 5. If you may have heard the phrase growing up, I don't think I said it earlier already. If you lie, you'll steal. If you steal, you'll kill. And you go, no, I won't, Grandma, because I heard that from my grandmother. No, I won't do that. But what you're really saying is an escalation in behavior. Yes, if you're willing to lie, it's only a matter of time before you're willing to steal. And if you're willing to steal, it's only a matter of time before you progress and you would be willing to kill, right? So you would only get worse. You wouldn't get better, right? Jeremiah 9 and 5.
Sir. Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 5. And they will deliver every one his neighbor and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongues to speak lies.
They have taught their tongues to do what?
To speak lies.
Some of us like lying so much. So remember, liar, liar, lake of fire. That you spend time learning how to be a better liar. How about just tell the truth? You'll spend time teaching yourself on how to be a better liar. How do I remember all my stories and keep my facts straight? There are some things in life you're not supposed to be good at. And if we find out you're good at it, we're supposed to look at you like, why are you so good at that? Why are you good at lying? What have you been doing to practice being as good at lying? Right? Keep reading.
And weary themselves to commit iniquity.
And weary yourself. Because listen, having to keep up with all these different lies and who you talk to, who you didn't talk to, what you say at the time you said it, how'd you say it, you're wearying yourself. Not only in the act itself, but you're just degrading yourself as a person. You are wearying yourself, right? So if you can learn how to be a better liar, if you can teach yourself to lie better, can't you just also teach yourself to not lie? Can't you also teach yourself to be a truthful, forthright person? So now we're going to touch on a few solutions, right? So if you don't want to be the liar, lake of fire, in parentheses, you also like to steal, what are some things you need to keep in mind? The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, verse 10. Some things to keep in mind, right?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12 and verse 10. But when ye go over Jordan and dwell in the land.
Oh, actually, hold on. I got dyslexia. Chapter 10 and 12. Dyslexia, 10 and 12. See, talking about lying and stealing, I screwed my numbers up in my head and I flipped everything upside down.
Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12.
Yes, sir.
And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
What does God require of us as Israelites, as his chosen people? Read.
But to fear the Lord thy God.
The first thing is fearing God. We're supposed to fear God's judgments. Let's say you commit the perfect steal. Nobody can catch you. All your evidence is nobody would ever be able to trace it back to you. The one individual that did see it still was God. and he can trace it back to you. You're supposed to be scared. That fear of being revealed and being punished for it is supposed to scare you. So the God requires us to fear him. Read.
To walk in all his ways.
And to walk in his ways, not the ways you make up. So we were talking about earlier about if you can learn to lie, right? There's a book that's very popular. It's called The 48 Laws of Power. I don't know if you ever read it, you've heard of it, or you're familiar with it yourself. But when you crack that book open, it's really a book about how to be a better liar, a better stealer, a better manipulator, a better deceit worker. That's what you're really learning. You're teaching yourself to commit to lies, to falsehoods, to living life the wrong way. And our people will praise this book to the high ends of heaven. Oh, the 48 Laws of Power. It's so great. It's so great. Read this book. Read this book. Read it. So when I went to check it out, okay, the 48 Laws of Power, what's going on here? But there's a lot of manipulating and taking advantage of people. I don't want to do this. Keep reading.
And to love him. And to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. To keep the commandments of the Lord.
So you're supposed to fear God enough to understand to keep the commandments. Read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day, for thy good.
For thy good. This is going to be for your benefit. Get 1 Corinthians 6:9. So, but if you don't want to fear God, to keep his commandments, to stay away from lying and stealing, well, there's other scriptures that explain what is at risk when you do these things, right?
1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God?
So this is what you would call the word slipped my mind that quickly. When you ask somebody a question, but the answer is already, you're supposed to already know the rhetorical. He said, know ye not? This is supposed to be a rhetorical question. You're supposed to know this. Read that again.
Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God?
So what's at risk here is the kingdom of God. And understand, a place like the kingdom of God, where the streets will be paved with gold, a thief cannot be allowed in there. Because we'll wake up the next morning and the streets will be gone. Because the thief went out there and stole the gold off the streets. You can't be allowed in there. Keep reading.
Be not deceived, neither fornicators.
Neither fornicators.
Nor idolaters. Nor adulterers. Nor effeminate.
Come on.
Nor abusers of themselves with mankind. Nor thieves.
Nor what?
Nor thieves.
Read.
Nor covetous.
Nor covetous. That's how you get into stealing. That's how you get into lying. Read.
Nor drunkards. Nor revilers. Nor extortioners.
Extortion. That's another way of stealing. You're extorting people, right? So you're lying, manipulating contracts or deals or manipulating situations to extort somebody. Read.
Shall inherit the kingdom of God.
So I don't know about you, but whether it's a candy bar or a car, a house, it's not stealing it, taking it, lying about it. It's not worth losing the kingdom over. Get the book of the Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 8. Right? So remember, we started off in the beginning, name of the class being liar, liar, lake of fire. Right? So we went over some examples of lying and stealing in the scriptures. We showed it in the law, how they are paired together very often. Talked about some common terms that fall under these things today, that that we've probably done at some point in time ourselves, and out of the benefit of the doubt, out of a lack of information, out of ignorance, right? But when you know better, you do better. So now it's time for us to know better so we can do better. What you got?
Revelation chapter 21 and verse 8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars.
All who?
All liars.
All liars. Now, hold on. When you read that verse and you start hearing the people named off, you're like, yeah, the fearful. Yeah, man. You're the unbelieving. Yeah, the abominable. Yeah, man. Yeah, you abominable. You need to be in the lake of fire. Yeah. Murderers. Yeah, you kill. Oh, then we got down to that little 5-letter word that said all liars. Now you go. Now your ears pricked up. You say, hold on, wait a minute. Why did I just get looped in with all of them? Right? Read.
shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone.
Imagine this, right? When you go to your job, you may have assigned parking at your job. Like, here's the supervisor spot, employee of the month. Here's the people that work here. Like, you have spots where, oh, my car parking spot is part 22, right? That's my spot to park my car. Here it says all these people have their part in the lake which burneth with fire. If you're a liar, lake of fire, there's a parking spot reserved for you. Reserved for you. Something you should be afraid of. That should help you kick the habit of lying and, in parentheses, stealing, right? Read that again.
But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
Which is the second death. If I ask anybody if they want to die, they'll say no. So who would answer yes to dying twice? People don't even want to answer yes to dying once. The second death, that means I've died the first death already. Over lying, not worth it. Get Ephesians 4:25. A very simple solution to stop lying is to not even do it. Like, lying is something you have to do. Telling the truth is free. Lying does cost you something. It costs you energy that you could have spent somewhere else. Just tell the truth. Ephesians 4:25.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 25. Wherefore, putting away lying, speaking every man truth with his neighbor.
Speak truth with your neighbor. Tell the truth. Talk about the truth. Read.
For we are members one of another. That's it.
Read again.
Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth.
So just simply, to put away lying, speak truth, right? These things can't be present at the same time. So like when you cut on the light in a dark room and the room is no longer dark, the light and the dark can't be present at the same time. So if you put away lying by telling the truth, you also take your name off that parking spot that was going to be reserved for you in the lake of fire. You can take your name off that parking spot. Listen, somebody's got to be in the lake of fire, but it doesn't have to be you. So we all just have to examine ourselves against the scriptures, examine yourself against this Bible, and be willing to change and then actually change. Get 1 Corinthians 14:33. Another way to put away lying is to not be around other liars, right? Because that's how you're going to learn to be a better liar, is if you're around other liars. 1 Corinthians 14:33.
1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 30. I think
15 and 33.
Yes, sir. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 33.
That's evil communication, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners.
Evil communications corrupt good manners. Now, I'm not going to call you crazy for it, but unless you're at home communicating with yourself, it takes another person to have communication. And how you might communicate may be through what? Talking, letter, text, phone call, song, social media, entertainment, movies. These are different ways of communication between one party to another party. Read that verse again, please.
Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners.
If you stay around evil communications contrary to the scriptures, eventually it will corrupt you. You will learn to take on and do the same things. If there's a phrase that goes, you're the combination of the 5 closest people in your life, right? It's like 4 or 5. You're a combination of them. So if the 5 or so closest people to you are liars, guess what? You're liar number 6. If the 5 closest people to you are thieves, guess what? You're thief number 6. Right, so be mindful about the company you keep. It even says in Sirach to mind the time around the indiscreet. You're supposed to mind your time around people that don't have the type of moral upstanding that comes with the scriptures. Get Proverbs 19, verses 5, and then verse 9, and then we'll end it there. right? So evil communication corrupts good manners. And then as a side thought real quick, you get so used to lying and you haven't broken that habit. Eventually your lies get crazier and crazier. You'll start saying stuff like, I was there. I was there where? Why are you lying about where you was at? You wasn't there, you was here. What do you mean you was there? You'll start saying stuff like, it wasn't me. Say she called me in the shower. It wasn't me. Yeah, bro, it was you. She walked in and saw you with her eyes. It wasn't me. Bruh, you can't be this stuck on lying. You caught red-handed talking about, nope, wasn't me. It was my twin. See, you didn't know I had a long line. That's that soap opera stuff, too. Oh, God. Read the scripture.
Proverbs chapter 19, verse 5. A false witness shall not be unpunished.
A liar shall not go unpunished. This goes with that. We're supposed to fear God and keep his commandments. You're supposed to be scared of the punishment. A liar will not go unpunished. Read.
And he that speaketh lies.
And he that speaketh lies. Come on.
Shall not escape.
You won't escape because you're going to get found out. Your lies are going to end up being turned upside down. Is that verse 9?
That was verse 5.
Jump to 9.
Verse 9. A false witness shall not be unpunished.
A false witness shall not be unpunished. Read.
And he that speaketh lies shall perish.
And he that speaketh lies shall what?
Shall perish.
That's going to be your first death and your second death. You're going to perish, right? So, once again, name of the class for tonight, Tuesday night law class, liar, liar, lake of fire. And don't be thieving either, right? So there is a biblical principle in if you lie, you'll steal, and if you steal, you will kill, right? Or if you lie, you'll steal, and if you steal, the Lord will kill. That's how you need to prepare yourself to be scared of doing these things, all right? So with that, I'm going to sign off there. Shalom.